Hello, this is Dennis Milliken. I do transportation on Better Call Saul.
Hi, I'm Mark Hansen, the prop master on Better Call Saul.
Hi, this is Christian Diaz de Bedoya. I'm the location manager for Better Call Saul.
Mark, this was a fun episode for props, wasn't it?
Yeah, so concrete resets are never a fun thing. And it's funny how much you stress about all this, and then when you see what you actually see on TV, it could have been a lot easier.
This is Philadelphia in the middle of downtown Albuquerque.
And how many times did they have to do that scene where they had to put the concrete down and then take it up? They get it in one month?
We had I think there was 4 little stations. They did not get it in one, so we would then have to pull that up, reset it, and go for take 2.
There's my golfing partner.
You wanted me to talk. I talked.
That's right. That was the pickup off of the last episode when he spilled the beans.
When he really talked for lying. Where did those phones come from?
We did not provide those. Oh, drawer. Yes, we did do those. That's the Saul Goodman desk drawer phones. The Westward Ho, Christian. How many times you shot there?
Oddly enough, this was only the second time, and it had been a number of years. But we definitely, the art department definitely went all out and changed this up.
You took that thing over.
This motel actually, way back, 12, 15 years ago, looked somewhat like this.
Like kind of run over?
Over and,
graffitied up?
Yeah. But new ownership had actually just got done remodeling the place. And here we came in and did this to it.
And aren't there people that are actually still in some of the rooms?
Yes.
Yeah, we had to move them out, I believe.
Some of them were, we put up in hotels, but others, they've been living there for so long they didn't want to leave. So they're actually inside their hotel rooms right now.
Yeah, the 2 that are closed.
Yep. Yeah. And then, incredibly enough, we put everything back, and the motel looks,
Well, you put everything back, and then what happened?
We had to come back.
Then we had to do reshoots.
Redo the whole thing all over again.
Come back a month later and do it all over again.
Yep. So that was a fake door I know art department put in.
Yeah.
In lieu of a garage. I think there was a garage
roll-up
space.
door, yeah.
So that's all fake. I mean, it's probably real metal, but...
And just for reference, this is the bag that was in the trunk of the car in a previous episode.
Yep.
That proves that this gang, supposedly, is the one that did the hit.
Right. It's funny, duffel bags are sort of my arch nemesis on this show because...
Mine are cars.
Yeah, because every time you have to find a new, unique duffel bag, and there's only so many duffel bags in the world. So I think I show and tell probably 35 duffel bags every time a duffel bag is scripted.
And they're all period because this takes place in early 2000.
Right, which is a tough period because it's not an antique yet. It's not vintage. It's thrift store.
James McGill.
James, hi, it's Robbie Finn from CC Mobile.
Hi.
Am I calling at a bad time?
No, it's fine.
Great, well, good news. If you're still interested, we'd like to offer you a position at our Uptown branch.
Oh, this is the cell phone store.
What constitutes a prop as opposed to just a set piece? Is that the actor actually handles it?
It's technically anything that's handled by the actor is considered a prop, but it extends beyond that. But it also is limited to, if they sit in a chair, that's not a prop. That's set dressing.
Yeah,
so.
because like the goldfish tank, That was a prop, right?
That's all a prop. The goldfish is always a prop.
Yeah, and you could confuse that for set dressing in the background. So.
Right, but let's not give them any credit.
Not today, anyway.
Not for the goldfish, anyway, because that's the other bane of my existence is the goldfish.
Can you have that one just swim a little bit more to the left there?
So every time with Kim's cast here, every episode that she's in a cast, we have to put her in a cast at the beginning of the day and cut it off at the end of the day.
Yeah. You know, my father had asked me about that. He said, is that a fake cast she puts in? I'm like, nope. She would come in 2 hours early and get a real cast every day.
Every day we have a med tech come in. And part of the problem is it goes past the elbow. If it was just the forearm, we could slide one on and off. But with the going around the elbow, there's just no way to do it without making a real cast. So Kim, or Ray, is such a trooper because she just will grin and bear it and let us put the cast on every morning.
Now, with each episode up to this is 4, 1, 2, and 3, was the cast different and it gets less and less, or is that transition happen later?
No. We actually, I think we just go from full cast to no cast.
Yeah, okay.
So there was we never reduced the size. We talked about it quite a bit. We tried all sorts of concepts of how to reduce her prep time in the morning, but never came up with one.
Oh, jeez. I almost forgot to tell you. I got a job.
Really?
Yep. You're looking at Albuquerque's newest mobile communications specialist. I'm a shift supervisor even. Be very impressed. Cell phone sales. I'm
Little
selling cell phones.
Fact on the razor, he's shaving. We pull the razor blades out so that he's not actually shaving.
Yeah, you don't want to cause any
You don't want any potential accident, so we actually remove the razors from the razor blade in order to achieve that effect.
Just give him a call when you get a chance.
Of course, absolutely.
Gotta hope she gets nominated for something this year. She's so deserving.
Oh, yeah. She's fantastic. On and off camera.
Mr. Finn, James McGill, listen, I've been thinking it over, and I just can't pass up this opportunity. If the position is still open.
So, Courthouse, this is all real equipment, but special effects makes it roll and beep, but it's not actually X-raying.
Papa Dumian has settlement conferences most of the morning.
This is the old courthouse downtown, is that right?
This is the old Bernalillo County Courthouse. It's been closed for over 2 or 3 decades now. And you know what, Mark? This is the building where we first met, I believe, on our first show together.
I know.
Suspect Zero. Yeah.
I think they had just closed it, too.
That's right.
Pretty recently.
And that's when all these movies that start coming into town started using this for various sets and even production offices.
Right. Well, it's kind of nice they kept the couple of the courtrooms for like this, where you get the look of the courtroom. But it's like becoming a building again, right? Like companies are moving
county
back in
offices have been opening up on several floors, like accounting and various Bernalillo County offices.
Right.
This courtroom that we use is actually used for the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office to train in court norms, and their officers. They're in the academy. They learn, the procedures of court. So.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I thought they just kept it there for us.
Yeah.
Such ego. Film ego.
Yeah.
And you didn't show up, hence the bench warrant. Understood?
Yes.
Your Honor, Mr. Blakey was given a 6-month suspended sentence, along with the 1-year provision. There's no question that this bench warrant constitutes a clear violation of a very generous deal.
I'm doing the community service.
Judge Milsinger would like to see you in chambers at the next recess. In the first place, the state was prepared to charge this case as a felony and agreed to drop it to a misdemeanor in order to avoid wasting the court's time and resources. It's a shame.
In?
Oh, I don't want to bother you while you're eating.
Shit! Help me take my mind off this eggplant and okra. My wife insists, cholesterol, yada yada.
Is this still a practical location, Christian?
Yeah, that's
This is a practice. This is an office. This is actually 2 floors down, and it's right behind where we shot Chuck's big scene.
His meltdown?
Yeah, his meltdown, yeah.
And I always find it funny with actors. So this is real food that we bring in. So he's eating that, but every time you see the camera at a new angle, we're resetting the food and he's eating again. So by the end of the day, the guy's got to be just stuffed. Because you'll see actors that have been doing it a long time really don't eat food on camera because they know that it's going to be, 20 takes. So he's actually going for it more than I would have guessed.
Might have planned on coming hungry too.
Maybe, you plan on coming hungry.
And is he really eating the eggplant? Or
it's definitely okra and eggplant.
Yeah.
I don't know what part of it he's eating, but we definitely made that fresh.
Early 20s, pregnant with her first child, nearing the end of term, healthy as a horse. And she develops a complication. She goes to the hospital.
So what people don't realize out of watching this right now is we have lane closures with 80-foot boom lifts with lights on just to maintain the light through these windows.
Yep, that are all right, just right out those little windows.
Yep.
There's a lot of activity going on out there
there's
just for that little angle of shadow.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. That's funny.
There's so much equipment out there right now and street closures, and police are even holding traffic so the sound of traffic doesn't come through the windows.
Nice.
It's quite a Megillah.
This is the plot of the verdict.
Yes, of course it is. Because movies are the only place where those once-in-a-lifetime cases exist. You know what I got coming up next? I got a janitor who threw his pee on his boss. The one after that, she stabbed her boyfriend over a grilled cheese sandwich. This is the real world, Miss Wexler, and you won't find any Save the Broken Lawyer cases in it. Don't think that you are the first to try to rediscover their love of the law by trolling my court. You're not. Best thing you can do is stick to Mesa Verde. Make lots of money. Give some to charity. And having said that, we've got perpetual PD overload. So beware. Next time I see you lurking in my court, I'm going to put you to work.
Understood.
Good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All rise.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Please be seated.
Case CR2.
So I know with Septec, they really research on how these courtrooms look, and all the paperwork might seem excessive, but I know they did the research and it really sort of piles up like that. It may have gotten a little better with computers, but...
Well, I read your brief.
Even has the file boxes.
Yeah, just all that stuff is... So crossword puzzle was created by us. So making a crossword puzzle is actually a lot harder than you would think.
I would think so.
And you have to back into it. And there was a lot more specifics on that crossword than you just saw there. So everything was vetted through the process the approval process that we do. This is Loyola's, right?
This is Loyola's off of Central, Route 66. This is a fun location, I think, for everyone. Sarah's quite the character.
The owner's quite the character.
Yeah, she's quite the character. And
yeah, the newspaper. So we have the Albuquerque Journal has been incredibly kind to us, and anytime we need a newspaper, they will create a period correct using period correct headlines, photos, and then the articles are all essentially real. So if we did want to insert any of that newspaper, we could. But again, it's a long process, and they're very helpful with that.
They're pretty good. You want to go?
Tonight's group.
We could ditch.
I better go. I told Stacy I'd be there.
Sure.
If you notice the Craddock Marine name tag on Anita, it's a little throwback to Breaking Bad.
Oh,
It's always
nice.
kind of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was the checks were always made from Craddock Marine. So we do little Easter eggs with the writers. We'll come up with different concepts that we sneak in there.
Don't need to.
Then how do you know?
Because that dead wife he's always talking about never existed.
What are you talking about?
It's an act.
Why would you even say that?
The guy's story changes every time he tells it.
Really? No, I don't think so.
The romantic night at the Cubs game, their first kiss.
Yeah.
Do they do lockup on Central when they're shooting out the windows
We
too?
do, but sometimes we want to see the traffic.
So they just
But
let
yeah,
it roll?
yeah, like some of these, and a lot of the times if we see trucks or big buses, that's what we try and hold, the louder vehicles. But a lot of the times the director wants to see movement in frame.
Right, and we
like
can't.
right here, if you notice there wasn't so much.
Right.
So that could have been a lockup. Of course, these takes go back and forth, but as you know, we set up camera over here and shoot for a while.
Sure.
There's another trick we do too is sometimes we feather the traffic, which is we have police officers stop traffic and then release them one by one, like intermittently.
Got it. Pepper it
So
in.
we get some movement, but not all the sound, not all the audio.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Loyola, Sarah, the owner, is great because she will make all the prop food for us right there at her restaurant. As long as
pay with your credit card.
As long as I give her the list of what I need.
Oh, yeah. She chases me for your list.
Yeah.
Is Mark going to call me yet? You guys are shooting tomorrow. I need that list.
Yeah. So, but they make whatever we need. It's great.
Yeah.
CC Mobile.
So this was a location that Judy, our brilliant production designer, had to build. It was an empty shop within the strip mall. And we went back and forth scouting. We scouted, at least a dozen of these places and conceptualized different sizes. But this one was just right, and just the way it sat when we got our script just worked out great.
Yeah.
And everything in here, mind you, all of this production
Just
that you're
empty.
seeing right now,
That was empty.
yeah, it was gutted.
On the Tech Scout, it was gutted, and I
gutted.
think it wasn't even 5 days later they had this.
It's amazing what they do in
Yeah.
such a short turnaround, these guys.
Yeah.
Truly is. Construction, art department.
Everybody, yeah, because all the phones are period correct phones to 2002 or 3, and so the art department had to bring all those in. The hero prop phones as we go through this were ones that I brought in, and the bouncing ball that you saw in the basket became quite an approval process. I had to go to this location multiple times and video myself throwing the ball against the glass because he does that later. You'll see.
That is correct.
And they were like, "Oh, now can we try a different ball? Run back up there," and I'd get a different rubber ball, and then putting the CC Mobile logo on the ball turned into kind of a process. I had a company who makes promo balls. They came in, but they didn't do a very good job. So we ended up creating some stamps, and we would stamp each ball individually. And that seemed to work better because it would be bigger and brighter, and you could read it better. But that carpet, they put that carpet down. I remember.
Exactly. And just if you're looking left of frame where it says accessories, that green wall.
Yeah.
Right behind that in that room is the whole gang.
There's a whole
watching the
gang all
screen.
hiding on a video
village and the grips and the electricians. Everybody is.
Now I threw the ball
behind
much
that blue
better
door
than
as
him
well.
when I did it, but he got better as we went along. This is another one. This is the outside the motel, and all that graffiti, all the trash was brought in.
Yep, all
It's
that's
just an
done by
empty
the art
field.
department.
On this scene, initially, what they were considering is putting a bullet hole in the side of the vehicle.
Correct.
So they would recognize the vehicle as being at the scene where all the shootout was because of a bullet hole. And what we were going to do is have one of the guys that you saw earlier puncture the side of the car. But through conversations back in Burbank, they decided not to do that.
I think some of the tests that we did with a puncture bar just proved that you cannot easily swing a puncture hole into the side of a car
make it happen.
without being obvious, and they were trying to keep them discreet.
And putting the fake bullet hits weren't going to work.
Yeah. So we had multiple angled bars with, puncture-y ends on them.
These two guys Daniel and Lewis, are just great. You would think they were total badass. But in real life, which they can be, they're just as nice as they can be.
So it's a duffel bag full of guns that they're going in there with. And the whole concept was you weren't going to really see what was going on from this angle.
Did we wind up putting the fence up too?
The fence was there.
The fence was up, yeah.
They put the blocker up.
The black mesh.
Yeah. Because they really wanted it to just mess with his head like it is. Boy, that's some really good makeup on him.
Apparently these guys were in a lookout area that they noticed what had happened at the gate, so they show up with more muscle. He's still smarting from the wounds.
Yeah. Didn't know he did that move. That's cool. Yeah, he's got a bum shoulder, so he can't rack the slide.
For a show that had very few people get killed, this episode changed all that.
Yep.
Going forward.
Yep, you're absolutely right. This sort of was the one that turned the corner for us.
I think that was the first time that Michael
shot
anybody in the episode.
Yeah. So that was a practical explosion. I know FX did that one in real life. There's a lot of consideration when doing gunfire as far as distance between actors and whether or not it's a real blank firing out of the gun or if it's a visual effect. So the gun coming out of the building there is that's all real. But if you see the actors that are too really close to each other, generally we'll do a post effect muzzle flash. So did they put all these bullet holes in these cars, Dennis? Like, did they show up and then they just drilled them all in?
They weren't in there before. They put them all in.
So I think that's where effects does like a hole, and then they cover it with Mando and paint, and then when it squibs off, it.
If you see
Wow,
any,
that's a lot though. Look at all.
yeah, I
this.
think they did all that prior too.
Yeah.
Go for it, Lewis.
Yep. She got a lot of shells falling. That brass could be actually hot, despite it not being a real slug coming out of the shell. It's still gunpowder, and those heat up, so the actor could definitely get little burns if they're not careful.
That was a great location.
Yeah, that I haven't seen this before. This is fantastic. This turned out really great.
Yeah, I think in season 4 they actually said some lines, but for the most part, they have no dialogue. It's all facial expressions. What location is this?
Is this the garage up there off of
This is
Candelaria?
Is it the tire shop?
and I think this is a warehouse. Let's see here.
Remember this?
Yeah. It's a warehouse that we shot a last season when they all came under a conference call with the bosses down south, and Tio had his fit and broke the phone. We had this creepy looking warehouse we shot that scene at.
Yep.
But that one had been remodeled and renovated.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So we wanted to find something that was, of that character.
Yeah. Art department added the sheets, but the lighting is fantastic on this.
So this is kind of down in the South Valley.
Yeah, this is right by Pat's yard.
Correct.
Yeah.
We cleared out the Espinosa's.
Not far from the studios.
All done.
And the Salamanca brothers.
And that hanging plastic there.
Yeah.
We took that, the art department got that idea from other locations we scouted that had similar plastic. That's the cool thing is when you're scouting all these locations, you end up picking one of them.
Right.
But you gather ideas from all the other ones you're seeing. And they
great.
somehow make them into the film.
And I remember the fan that's spinning didn't actually work, right? Didn't effects
Correct.
have to come
That
in?
special effects is making it turn.
Right.
And that's a great shot
or
with the light coming
it
through.
spun too fast and they had to slow it, so they put it on their own.
Get some rest. You have more to do.
Gus is always so thoughtful.
It's a service to the people. It really is. It's a nonprofit. And it's a perfect fit. I mean, what with his degree in sociology and all, I think he's really come a long way. He hasn't even talked about getting a job until this week. The place is
I think this is the scene where Jonathan calls him out.
Willie, you hadn't quite finished.
It's called the North Fourth Arts Center. I hope he takes the job.
Well, thank you, Willie. That all sounds really promising.
It's funny, some locations I never even make it to. I've never been to this location.
Mm-hmm. Believe it or not, sometimes I don't either. Once we start shooting, we're so busy scouting all the other episodes.
Yeah. For me, there's no props here. I mean,
And
the
no
actors have their
cars.
props, but there's no cars, there's no props to speak of that are above and beyond their personal props that I don't even actually need to visit.
Yeah, and this is actually on location, but it easily looks like a set, you know.
Sure. Yeah, it's pretty funny that some stage sets look so real and ones that are actually real look like a set.
You know, a lot of the times we walk into places and some of the times we don't pick them as they look production designed. It's like, this is just a little bit too
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 on the
art
nose,
directed
yeah.
here. Yeah.
And they weren't just minutes. There were hours that I didn't think about.
I just love that Jonathan comes off as such a bad dude and he's the nicest guy in real life.
Went out a whole week.
You haven't played golf with him, have you?
Well, no, you're right.
No, I'm teasing. He's a great guy.
Forget him completely.
He's a huge heart.
I mean, I know I won't. That's
I bet you Jonathan, when he gets mad in real life at his kids or something, he bites his lip like that.
He possibly could.
Thank you, Stacey. You're not alone, truly. I mean, it might be painful, but if you ask me, I'd say it's progress. I mean, a lot of us in this room have felt the same things you're talking about.
I know I have. Keep trying to get there, you know, to live in the here.
Look at that look. It's so great.
I know that's what Judy would have wanted, but it's hard. This guy at work, I've been avoiding him for the last 2 weeks, ever since he got back from his vacation to Australia. She always wanted to go to Sydney, but money was tight. Finally, we were going to go for our 25th, and that's when she got her test results.
Oh, God. Mike, you have something you want to add?
You don't want to hear what I have to say.
Well, we're ready if you are.
Huh? This guy was never married. What are you talking about?
Mike, now, you know the rules.
Yeah, I know your rules. He's been coming in here for months, selling you a bill of goods, getting you all misty-eyed and loving every minute of it. Stop. That's just not true. Yeah? Okay. So I'll go to the public library and I'll get the papers from 1997 and I'll run a search on Judy DeVore, beloved wife of Henry DeVore. Tell me I'll find her obituary. She wanted to go to Australia? Last month it was Cuba. Come on, Henry. Let's look at the papers, see if the math works.
Come on, Mike.
She's not there, is she? Come on, say it. You have no shame. Well, he came to the right place, didn't he? He knew you wouldn't notice. And you didn't. All wrapped up in your sad little stories, feeding off each other's misery. You wanted me to talk. I talked.
I'm thinking Marin wrote this episode.
What location is this? I don't remember.
This is Nacho's dad's house.
Oh, yeah.
Sal de aquí ahorita mismo. No te quiero aquí. Lárgate. Respóndeme. No estoy para juegos. Te dije que te fueras de mi casa. Tienes que irte. Ahorita mismo. Dios mío. Mi hijo. ¿Qué te han hecho?
Now, Christian, was this an empty house?
No. This was a furnished house. We used a lot of their furnishings. Redressed a couple things. But for the most part...
And you said while we filmed there, we just put the residents up in a hotel?
Yeah, since these are late evening shots, a lot of times that we shoot during the day and we're not using their bedroom, they don't really want to go anywhere, but it's always an offer we put out there.
Is it a nice hotel?
Yeah.
All right.
Sometimes Chaco, sometimes.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah,
Just a big spender.
Make them comfortable. This location's always fun.
This was high security.
Was this the one that we
This is the
came
pickup
to, the pickup shot,
Yeah.
right?
that we came back around to. So we had to skin the back of the semi-truck trailers. We did the sides too. But
Okay,
as
so
you
it's
can
all outside.
see, we only see the backs of them.
And those are our working 40s, right? With our equipment in it? or
No, these are all Dennis.
Oh,
No,
okay.
we got a bunch of trailers
Yeah.
and backed them in.
Because we can't. So on some of the bays that you don't see that are off camera, that's where the working 40s go.
Got it.
But since we have to interact with these, we can't prevent the crew from going in and out of their own trucks.
And because they're backed into the dock, most of the trailers had to have the roll-up doors like you saw.
Right.
I see. Yeah, some of ours open, like French
there's
doors.
barn
yeah.
door open.
So that's Mike's cell phone. Anytime you see a phone number pop up on his incredibly vintage cell phone, it always is done by Diane in post, because that cell phone that they chose for him early on is would never be able to create that sort of graphic.
Little movie magic.
Yep.
What's that say?
And I think this. Yep. So that was a real unit on the wall, but again, Diane put in the graphic for the temperature, since it was probably 90 degrees that day when we shot. And it wasn't, and you can't have an actually cold trailer for the actors to walk into. And set deck put all these pallets together and loaded that trailer up.
Yeah. We'll fix that.
This okay with you?
Are you talking about the strap?
I am.
I think effects just puts in a little smoke in there to make it look like frost.
Is that a prop strap or is that a
That's the prop
art
strap.
department strap?
I think they did it and we frayed it because it had to match the other ones. So art department did it and we went in and put just a little bit of fray on there for camera.
Hermantraut.
He wants to see you
Yeah?
tonight.
And I think we put that phone. Yep, we put that phone on that post for convenience.
We're not done yet.
He gets better every time.
Yep.
I love where their storyline goes in future episodes.
So we actually made that open close sign because a lot of times just that little detail of it being an open closed or open or we'll be back in a GIF is just a writer detail that they, takes it to that next level.
Here's another throwback to us, huh?
Yep. Ace Rebar.
And I have been wanting to shoot at this location since Breaking Bad for a while. It's such a cool building.
Yeah.
We finally made it over.
So I know art department had those vending machines. We had to buy pallets and pallets of soda. That truck of yours, Dennis, is actually loaded with a fair amount of pallets of soda just in case they open them up.
We secured that truck because they wanted it to be a certain color with the logo on it because we didn't get a product placement deal. So we had to create that. So we went and actually bought that truck in Arizona and brought it back and had it painted. You put the logos on it, and
that thing was a real cream puff, as I recall.
Yeah, it was. It got to the set, and we got it back. I wouldn't want to go too far on the roads with it.
It's definitely delivered some soda back in its day.
Was this scene originally written for an apartment complex?
Yeah, it was going to be a throwback to the Beachcomber.
That's right, where Walt moved in.
Yeah, but we got up there, and it had changed aesthetically quite a bit, so the audience would not have really recognized that. It was kind of a cookie.
Right.
So then we decided to just go for a location that just looked a lot better, a lot cooler.
And this character, is he a Breaking Bad character too?
He is. He's one of the guys who was at the pest control with them, the Vamonos pest control.
Yep.
So if you look closely.
Another
And as you
Easter
can
egg.
tell from the water, we got rain that morning.
Yep, I
So we
remember.
almost got rained out of this location, but the skies opened up just about when the crew landed.
So here's another, just, when the actor's doing something like painting, it looks harmless, but that's one probably, 10 takes of him doing that. So you have to clean it and go back. And that particular scene, everything was created ahead of time except for this last one where they're shooting him. But they would then erase that and do another take. So it's not just one time he's doing it. It's a lot of cleanup and take 2 and take 3. And
What about these shots here? Is that the actual actor, or is that
it
a
probably
double?
it probably is him
Yeah,
for most of
right?
it. I
would think so.
I think it was, if they had maybe an insert, but I don't remember them going back and picking up anything. So, and certain things, Bob likes doing. I mean, I think if he feels like it's a character point, he'll get in there and really want to be part of it and have an opinion on how it should be done.
And just turn off the fear.
I think there was a lot of talk about how that all got up on the up on the window. A lot of discussion.
I'm sure there was a lot of different presentations, colors and size of lettering, and
correct. Yep.
Thorough to the most highest extent.
Is this out at was this the pickup day too?
This is one of our other locations. It doubles for the chicken farm.
Right.
People have no idea how big that place actually is. It
The chicken
extends
farm?
boundaries
Yeah. It goes
and
and
borders,
goes and
and
goes.
there's just yeah.
So the trucks are all acquired by Dennis, but then we do the skinning on the side for the pollos, and it's a pretty expensive endeavor. So we try to only do it once a season.
And some of these trucks, you only skin one side.
One side,
Like
correct.
that
Like
long one,
if we don't think we're going to see the other side, then we won't spend the money to skin it. But we can't handcuff the director and say, well, you can't turn that truck around. If it's even a question, we'll skin both sides.
There is a matter we need to discuss.
But I know Dennis has trouble with these reefer trucks sometimes, finding them in town.
Well, what we did is when we found these, we had to skin them once, and then we retained them. We didn't.
Yeah,
a lot of
didn't give
times
them
we'll have
back.
to take the skins off, return the trucks, and then a month later we get the trucks back. We skin them, and it's as you know, it's the expense of skinning and deskinning.
Yep.
It's cheaper to hold on to the trucks, and that's what we did this time around. Especially something like the semi.
You shook my hand, and all the while you knew Varga was moving against my interests.
I said I wouldn't kill Salamanca. I never promised to be his bodyguard. So, what now?
You ever hear Jonathan comment about working mainly nights?
I have not.
At
But I
the booth.
Can't imagine he's a fan.
And it gets cold here in the wintertime of the night.
Yeah. Well, I guess this wasn't. I guess it was winter that we shot this winter and fall into spring.
You stop running a game on me and just tell me about the job.
Well, Miss Heather Marion and John Shaban did a great job on this.
Nice job. Definitely a trickier episode than most. A lot of details in that one.
Okay, this is Dennis Milliken, and I thank everybody for being a part of this. I hope you enjoyed it.
Hey guys, Mark Props here. Thanks for enjoying the show.
Hey everyone, Christian Diaz de Bedoya, location manager. Thanks for joining us on this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it.